Hello everyone and welcome to another session that is intended to make you happy in your life. And if you already feel happy, how about being happier? To be truly happy in this life, we must feel and be part of our environment, particularly other beings, be they human or others. About 30 years ago, when I was a university professor of business and economics in the United States, I used to tell my students that in order to receive, we must be willing to give. Something does not come from nothing or for nothing, and we all have something to give. We all have treasures buried in ourselves. Yes, I say buried because many, if not most of us, are not aware of our potential. And we do not realize that our weaknesses can really be our strengths. Allow me to give you an example from my own experience. As a teenager, I used to be extremely shy, and if someone at that time had told me that one day I would be a professor and speak to a multitude of people, I would have considered it as an absolute absurdity. In fact, I was so shy that when I started a new class in school and had to stand up to introduce myself to classmates, my knees were literally trembling. Then one day, years later, I was in a church attending a Sunday ceremony called the Holy Mass, because at that time I was still in an eggshell of the Catholic religion, and the presiding priest asked the congregation if anyone would like to volunteer and read passages from the Bible during the Mass. At that moment, I heard an inner voice, or better said, I sensed an indescribable feeling that God needed me and wanted me to respond. I looked around and seeing that nobody was raising their hands, I raised mine. The priest beckoned me to come to the podium and showed me what to read after he would signal me during the Mass. When the moment arrived for me to read, I walked up to the podium in front of a multitude of people, my head bowed down, and I felt scared like a little mouse. While reading, I did not dare to look at the congregation, but I did the reading and returned to my pew. After the Mass, the priest came to me and said that I had a very good voice and that he would like me to do the readings during every Sunday Mass. He assured me that I would also get additional training in the readings. And so gradually each Sunday I had more self-confidence and started looking up at people's faces. Then, a couple of months later, the choir director came up to me and said, "You have a very nice voice." I said to myself, "Oh no, now what's up?" The director asked me to do a singing rehearsal, and soon I found myself singing in the choir during one Mass and reading from the Bible during another Mass. Singing in the choir did not bother me because we were at the back of the church and we did not face the congregation. But the situation changed during the Christmas Mass. I came to the church and found out that we were going to sit at the front of the church facing the congregation, and I was supposed to sing a solo. Petrified, I whispered to God, "You got me to this point. You got me in this mess. Now I hope you will help me." And yes, I believe God did. But what I did not know at that time was how God was preparing me for my future vocation as a teacher, to make others happy and to be happy while doing so. Now, in this case, God communicated with me directly. And my presence in the church at that time was only a peripheral factor. God can take advantage of any situation or place to convey a message to us. And speaking from my experiences, God speaks to us all the time. The only question is whether we are listening. But let us go back and focus on who or what God is. In this video here, we have seen that eternity does exist, at least mathematically. This would imply that everything exists at various points of eternity, just like numbers exist on an infinite line. We also know that everything has a cause and effect. In other words, everything was caused by something else. If we put together eternity and the phenomenon of cause and effect, then we can postulate that the first cause has never existed. And this would invalidate the theory of Aristotle, the famous philosopher, stating that there must have been the first cause that was later interpreted by other philosophers, and particularly theologians, as God. This and many other aspects would negate the existence of God. But let us not jump from black to white or vice versa. There are many shades of light, yet only few are perceivable by us humans. Amidst infinity, would it not be possible that there is an infinite array of light? If everything exists in infinity, all, including us, are part of infinity. Moreover, infinity could not have been created because there is nothing or nobody outside of eternity or infinity. Now, some of you may say, yes, you're right, there is no God. I would definitely agree with those of you who say this, but I would add that it is the traditional God invented by humans who does not exist. But again, we must not jump to another conclusion too fast. Let us for a moment take a closer look at the infrastructure of a part of the universe which we know. Because of time limits, I will let you dwell on this and prepare yourselves for the continuation of this topic in our next video. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video, and I welcome you to subscribe to our channel to see more of our informative and educational videos, past and future, because we live amidst infinity. And please don't forget to click on like. Also, please write any comments you may have below this video. Thank you very much.